What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be showing y'all a walkthrough video on how to wire in your Boost Auto S-Series module for your GMC cab lights. So this right here is a 2024 GMC Sierra 2500. We opted for the OEM look cab lights instead of their S-Series bar lights. But we also have like the turn signal functions as well as the startup sequence and the DRLs and all that. So that is why we are going to be doing the module installation, and I figured I would do a video on that since that has a little bit more steps and an in-depth kind of thing. If you need to go see your install video of that, they have it over on their Boost Auto channel, and I will link the video below. But I wanted to do a detailed walkthrough of the wiring for the module itself since that's later on in their video. So that is what we're going to be doing today, and if that is what you're looking for, then keep watching. So we already have the new cab lights already installed, but we did not install the module yet. So if you have your cab lights that are just plug and play without like the turn signal feature, startup features and all that, you are done and you're good to go, because once you plug them into the OEM harness, then they are done. However, if you have turn signals, DRL, startup functions, you also have to install this module. So that is kind of what this video will be going over, of installing this underneath the driver's side dash. So along with your module, you'll also have the wiring kit that it comes with, and I'll be doing the breakdown and step-by-step install process of where these all plug into. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and take off these kick panels here because we're going to have to access some wiring that's behind here. So by doing that, you're going to need a trim removal tool. So I've got these two. I'm going to see which one works better. And we're going to pop this up and then kind of get to here and unplug some stuff back there. That way we can get all that pulled out without damaging anything. Alright, so we're going to pop this little guy up. Put that out of the way. Stick this one under here. Kind of work this one up. And pull this one down and back so we can get that out. Alright, so now we're going to find this yellow connector right here. These are from the amp steps, so that's why these are here. Your truck probably won't have these unless you have aftermarket steps on them. But that's what this blue and white wire is tapped into over there. So just kind of disregard this whole kind of setup over here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to unplug this yellow connector. We're going to kind of gently pry out on the locking. You're going to depress it with your finger forward to unclip it and bring it up. Pull this up, and then we can pull this connection out like that. That way we can access the wires that are up inside of here. Alright, so to be able to access your wires that are behind this cover, we're going to clip this zip tie up here at the top. And then we're going to pop this yellow cover off. There's 4 clips, 2 in the front and then 2 in the back. You're going to pry very gently up on them because you don't want to break them. We don't like to break things around here. Kind of keep that one up into this other side. There we go. So I found it easier to take this white clip off, but they have a line up tab on the sides. So be sure that you line those up, otherwise you could break that white clip. So make sure you line them up like that, and then it pops right out, and then you can take that top yellow portion off. It's a lot easier to get off that way, since I wasn't really able to get the yellow portion off with the white clip on. And then just put the white one on back when you do the yellow one. Alright, so to gain a little bit more access to these wires, I just took some little flush cutters and very gently and strategically made sure I pulled up on the tape before cutting so that I don't cut into any wires, and then kind of peeled it up and out of the way. That way we have a lot more room to work with each individual wire that we need to get to. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and take our module. This bottom one is our power and ground for running power to it. this is where all of our communication will go through with this 3-pin connector, as well as these are our output side. So the blue wire is going to be going towards the lights, and then this black one we're actually just going to cap off because we won't need it for this make and model. So I'm just going to cap this one off, and then we'll go with wiring in this under the dash. Alright, so I personally don't really like to have these type of butt connectors. There is absolutely nothing wrong with them. I just don't care for how bulky they are. So I typically will take a uninsulated butt connector, and then I'll use my own kind of heat shrink. Here's like an assortment kit that I got at Harbor Freight. They have a whole mess of different sizes, but I just like how thinner these are, and they just look cleaner than having a bunch of different bulky belt connectors underneath. So I'm just going to clip this one off and then put a new butt connector on it. I'm just going to cut this one flush down here because this is the black wire that we won't be using. This one I'm going to go ahead and strip, and then I'm just going to strip some off the end here, and then grab one of my butt connectors and throw this one on here, crimp it down good. Alright, so this one's just a little bit smaller, and then this will all be covered with some black heat shrink, and I always do like a tug test, make sure it's on there really nice and good and tight. And then this is what we will be installing on our first pin connection under the dash. Alright, so now that we have access to all of this harness, we're going to take this green and brown wire. It's right down here. I can't remember the pin number, so I'll add that. But this is where it's at, right here at the bottom. So it's like the 3rd pin from the bottom right. It's a green and brown wire right here. We're going to clip that one in half. Make sure you have enough space on either end to now attach the module to, because we're going to be running through wires on either end. So we're going to take a decent chunk out and clip it right here. We're going to take our strippers and we're going to strip this top portion, because this top portion is what connects to this blue wire on your module. And then this bottom one, I'll show y'all where you plumb that into on another connector. Alright, so our top wire, we're going to strip it so we can get a connector on there. I took some heat shrink already and put it around here so that it's already on there. And then we're going to take our butt connector and crimp it up here onto the top portion. I'm going to crimp it really nice and tight on both sides. Do our tug test, make sure it doesn't pop off. And throw our heat shrink up and over that, and use our torch and shrink it down. Alright, so now here on our bottom connector, we're going to take the 3-wire connector and we're going to plug it into the jumper harness that comes with it. So we're going to go ahead and plug that in. It's the one with the little pink rubber on the end. Make sure it clips into place. And then we're going to take our orange wire, this one right here on the far right, and we're going to cut it to length. This module will stay behind here with all of this stuff. So these wires are like the length of the truck, but we don't need them to be that long. I'll probably end up putting this little module box up here So I'm just going to clip it long enough to where we have enough room to tie it into this wire. Again, we're gonna go ahead and strip the other end of the orange wire. We're gonna strip the other side of the green and brown wire. And then we're gonna take one of our butt connectors. Again, you can use one of the supply butt connectors that is in the kit, but I'm gonna use the uninsulated ones. So I'm going to slip our heat shrink over the wire and then put our butt connector on either side first, doesn't really matter. Just want to make sure it's nice and tight. I like to crimp both sides just to be sure. Okay, do the tug test, pass, and now go up here. And now we're gonna go ahead and come up here and get it on here. So now we have this one clipped in. We're gonna take our heat shrink, go over, and shrink it up. Once you have this one connected, now we no longer need access in here, so we're gonna throw our cover back on, and we're gonna have this one just kind of tucked up in here, and then put the clips in. And then I had took these off, so you're just gonna line them back up on the sides like that, clip them on, and again on this side, line up, clip in, and then I'll take our little stuff that we had cut, kind of bring this back down, and secure with a zip tie at the top that we had cut off. Alright, so now we can go ahead and plug this back in because we are finished with this. So now that we have our yellow one back reinstalled with the locking tab pressed in, we're going to come up here to the LCM, and then this outside row up here, not this inside one, but this outside one, we're going to disconnect the pink one and then the blue one all the way at the end. Alright, so to disconnect them, you're going to pull down on the white locking tab. That's right here, and then we're going to push in and pull down. So we're going to disconnect the pink one and this blue one back here. So basically the first one and then the last one. Again, push in, wiggle and pull down. One nice thing is that you have a little bit more room to work with once you have them pulled down and out. Alright, so first we're going to do the same process of peeling back some of this wiring loom that's over top of this. Just again, take some scissors, kind of cut up in there, and I went ahead and just cut that off because I'm going to actually re-wrap below here. But we're going to take pin 5, so when you're looking at it with the white locking tab up, pin 5 is right here. So it's this first one to the left on the second row, which is this blue and white wire right here. So we're going to take this blue and white wire and one of the purple reddish color taps, and we're going to tap into this wire. So you're going to feed it underneath here. We're going to take the top of it and squeeze it together to clip it down. Now, I don't have very strong fingers, so I usually clip them by using some pliers very gently. Clipped. I have weak fingies. Get on there, sir. Okay, is it on there? Oh yeah, okay, cool. Make sure you have it locked in place on the back there so that it's clipped in there nice and tight. And then that's it for the pink one. So now we're going to take our blue one and do the same thing. So we're going to peel this stuff back so that we have more access. Alright, so now that we're on our blue connector, again, looking at it from the top where the white locking tab is, we're going to go to pin 7. So it's the second one, second row, and then it's the second from the right, or this one, which is green and brown. So we're going to take that wire, and again do the same thing, do a red wire tap on that, so that we have a tab to connect to. So again, we're going to take another like reddish, purplish, maroon color T-tap on here, stick it on here, make sure it clips in there nice, and then we're going to take our little pliers and squeeze it down just to make sure it's making contact. Beautiful. Okay. There you go. So now I'm just going to rewrap all of the harness I had removed, just because I don't like having a whole lot of bare wires just hanging around where they can be rubbed and stuff. So we're gonna just rewrap those up all nice and beautiful like, and then have our just literal tab. So that way they're easy access to. So now you're gonna take the other two that were in this plug that we had plugged in earlier, cut them to length to however long we need them to be, and strip the ends off of them. So let's see here, let's kind of measure these out. So this one's gonna go back into there, and it's gonna plug into here. So I'm thinking right there. And we're going to install these little spade connectors like these that have the little spade on the inside. So we're going to grab both of those and attach them to the ends that we just wire stripped. And don't forget your tug test. Pull on it so you make sure it's in there. And then we can heat shrink our little ends. Okay, so you've got a red and blue and red and green. Make really sure you're not colorblind because one's left hand, one's right hand. So the blue one, the red and blue, is your left hand side, and that is going to plug into the pink connector. So the first one. So you're going to take them and then you're just going to plug them into the T-tap and really make sure that they are in there nice and secure. So you want to make sure that they're flush down here because they're going to try to stop here. You want to make sure they're locked in good and tight up here. Now the right hand side is the red and green, or the Christmas colors, and you're going to have that one go into the blue connector. So again, make sure you have them really nice and secure and tight all the way flush up here. That way you know they're all the way in. So after they're all connected, you can go ahead and connect them back up into where you disconnected them from. Be sure that they click into place and that you push in that locking tab so that they don't disconnect or jiggle out. So reconnect them in there and then push in the tab. Now we're gonna move to our power and grounds on our other connector. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and take our 2-pin, which is our power and ground. We're gonna go ahead and plug that into our module. And now we are going to tap for power. Make sure it makes that little click sound. Always do your little tug test. Make sure they don't come unplugged. So now we're gonna get power and ground from the LCM up under here. So we just did the first one and the very last one, which is the pink and the blue. The one that is right next to the blue on the far end is a purple one. So that purple one, we're gonna pull the locking tab down and remove that one now. And we're gonna use that one to tap in for our power. So again, push in on the tab and then kind of just pull it and wiggle it out. Bring it over here so you can get access to work on it. And again, we're just gonna kind of trim up this. All right, so now we're going to tap into pin 24, which again, where the locking tab's up at the top, we're gonna go to the bottom left one right here It's a red and green color one. And we're gonna take another red tap in our kit. And we're gonna go around that one and connect a tap connector on that one as well. Get them started and then snug it down so we make a good connection with that wire. All right. And then our ground, we're gonna go right next to it on the bottom right. So its neighbor, which is black and white, right here. And we're gonna tap it again with the last purple reddish color tap. Squeeze, there we go, nice. All right, so again, red one power, black one ground. And those will be your power and grounds on. So now we're gonna go ahead and measure and cut to length our power and ground wires that are plugged into the S module. And do the same thing, strip the ends off, and then we will add our little spade connectors. Now we're gonna go ahead and plug these in to the purple one, but first I'm gonna do that by kind of getting this back up where it needs to go so that they aren't getting tangled on anything. So that's gonna go up in through here, so I'm gonna plug them in right here. Red one goes with the red one, make sure it seats fully. That last little inch is crucial to keep it locked. And the black one goes with the black wire. There we go. And now we can plug in our, man, let me just move this on this side. Plug in our purple one back up in here. Okay. Don't forget to push in the locking tab. Alright, so if your kit has an inline fuse, we're going to take the side that doesn't have the butt connector on it, and we're going to connect it to the spade connector and tighten this down. Ooh, cracked my fingy. Do a tug test. Good. And now we're going to match that same end lengthwise to the ground here so that we can have it be similar in length. So probably around here. That way we have a little extra space to work with. Strip the end off. And insert this side. Oh Lord, yeah, we got power, holy cannoli. Into this side. Where's the heat shrink side? So now we have our power going to our purple wire over here. We got our inline fuse and our 2-pin connector for power and ground going to the module. So to kind of clean all of this up, I'm gonna wrap these up so that they are easier to manage and don't have just a bunch of crazy loose wires going on everywhere, because I don't like how insanely disorganized everything is. So I'm gonna disconnect this little guy so I can get a hold of it. And I'm just gonna kind of clean up these wires and show y'all what it looks like. Alrighty, so now I wrapped everything up nice and tidy, reconnected it. So this is our 3-pin connector down here, all wrapped up. Much easier to manage. Here's our purple one, that is our power. I didn't have enough to wrap up here, and I needed to have a little bit of extra room for some movability of the fuse. But here's our little power ground one all wrapped up. We're gonna stick the purple one back up in here. And don't forget to push in your locking tab once you have it in. Here we go. Click it in. Here's our little fuse, so we have access to it if we so need it at any point. And our little 2-pin we're gonna connect down there. Alright, so now we're cooking with peanut oil. We're gonna stick this in here, find a good place to attach it, and zip tie all this up. So now we have our little box secured over here. We've got the little module box, all of our connectors up here. We have some zip ties going on here. Make sure everything is connected and won't get caught on anything or wiggled and jiggled. So now that that is in, I can untuck our little carpet and our mat. And now we're going to go ahead and reinstall our trim pieces. All right. Push that back in there. Get these all lined back up. Our little Luxus mats go tucked under there. So, trying to get them to not be all stuck. And tuck this one a little bit more. There we go. There we go. Alright. Get that one tucked under there. This one is beautiful. Alright, last little trim piece. Line it up in your holes. And then there's clips at the top. Push out, lock them in place. Set your seat back where they go. And that is a completed install. Now we're going to do a startup sequence so y'all can see the lighting on the cab lights. Alright, so on unlock, you got just a regular unlock sequence. Here's just the regular on. Here's your startup sequence. Wow, it's so fancy. And then let's get some turn signal. Here's left. Ah! Or the wiper, I guess. Gosh. I turned the wiper on. Left turn signal. Right turn signal. What about the right turn signal? I think that's all it does. I can't remember. Start up again. Nice. I like it, Picasso. I hope this video helps y'all wire in your S module for your boost lights as well. That concludes this one, and stay tuned for anything else coming down the pipeline. The other boost auto lights we have on this are the fender lights as well as the mirror lights, and they have the caps that we had body lined to basically color match. So that's nice and easy because they are the black paintable ones rather than the chrome ones. And there was something else on here other than the cab lights. I can't remember off the top of my head. But These things are badass. You got the smoked black. Those mirror lights are also ones that do the chasing turn signals with the white LED. So now everything on this truck has been upgraded from the amber to the white LED, so everything is matchy-matchy. So again, hope this video helps and keep wrenching.